Did you know that menopause has been linked to cognitive deficits in women, particularly in the areas of verbal memory, working memory, attention, and slower processing speeds? So, in this episode, I'm sharing how impactful menopause is on cognitive function. I'm Tafiq here, and this is the Mr. Menopause Show. Estradiol, which is the main form of estrogen that functions in the brain, is decreased during menopause. Because estrogen directly affects the central nervous system, which is linked to brain function, this is extremely significant. Now, from a health perspective, menopause can impact how brain cells develop and interact with one another. In addition, memory-related brain areas are also affected by these processes. Glucose, which is the primary fuel for brain cells, decrease similarly during menopause. Now, the brain then turns to alternative metabolic sources to supply the energy it needs to function. Still, most women need the proper understanding and the proper awareness of what's actually happening in order to access those sources. Now, one of my clients, whom I will call Sheila for privacy reasons, is a high-level executive in the entertainment industry. Before meeting me, she was experiencing menopause, but like more than 70% of women with menopause today, she didn't realize that her symptoms were actually menopause related. Sheila had terrible insomnia, and she initially thought that when she was going through the night sweats that she was just fighting off a flu bug. But when that persisted, she then went to see her doctor. Unfortunately, her lab results were negative, like many other women that I work with. And she was just instructed to try to get more rest and to take melatonin to get better sleep, neither of which actually helped her. The most terrifying experience for her was forgetting what she was talking about mid-sentence while interacting with a client or a coworker. She also discovered that her verbal memory was starting to deteriorate and that she was always asking people to remind her about the conversations they had previously. At one point, she even thought she may be experiencing early dementia or Alzheimer's. Now, at that time, she was 44 years old, so the thought of menopause from her perspective was nowhere on the radar. She had always thought of menopause as an older woman's issue. She didn't know that menopause can actually start at 40, and being a woman of color, it can actually start sooner. Now, after nearly a year of struggling through work and going into the office less often, she decided to resign from her job while she still had the respect of her colleagues and the industry. But fortunately, Sheila did learn that her symptoms could be related to menopause, and after looking into it further, she actually discovered that she was enduring many menopause symptoms that, like I said earlier, she wasn't even aware were menopause related. She received some assistance and care for her symptoms at that time, and she was able to manage them somewhat, and this actually gave her the courage to actually refrain from resigning. So a few months after that, one of my clients met her and recommended her to me, and I assisted her in implementing work-related adjustments to help her to better manage her symptoms on the job. And she completed my signature metabolic makeover program that actually helped her to eliminate the root cause of her symptoms. And as a result, she also hired me to implement a menopause workplace training for her company. She recently shared with me that it actually helped to improve the workplace environment, teamwork, relationships, and it helped because we were able to educate her coworkers, and other employees about the many ways that menopause can affect the workplace. The cognitive demands in the workplace are vast and they vary depending on the industry you work in. But communication, learning, adjusting, and the ability to think critically are all essential. So you need to have the tools and resources in place to manage menopause in the workplace in order to help with those cognitive issues. The parts of the brain involved in language and judgment, learning, registering, and retrieving information are all impacted by estrogen. And this explains why cognitive functions change so much throughout menopause. In addition, a woman's cardiovascular and cerebrovascular health level can also indirectly influence her level of brain health. Now, common cognitive deficiencies that happen during perimenopause include things like forgetfulness, delayed verbal memory, and slower processing speeds. Now, the good news is that research has shown that many women experience cognitive function recovery after menopause. The bad news is that perimenopause may last for up to 12 years for some women, and sadly, many women dealing with undiagnosed or untreated menopause end up quitting or being let go from their job during that time span. Receiving earlier and more specialized care can postpone the start of cognitive decline during perimenopause. In addition, implementing training and policies in the workplace, getting proven and fact-based information from accredited sources, or even just working with a trusted menopause specialist can help women to manage, minimize, and even eliminate the cognitive issues that increase during menopause. If you are a woman over 40 who is experiencing issues related to thinking, reasoning, remembering, imagining, recalling words, and just using basic language, then you may be experiencing the cognitive deficits that are associated with menopause. And if these issues are affecting your work, your relationships, or your daily life in general, I can help. As MrMenopause, being a licensed menopause specialist and midlife hormone health and fat loss coach for over 15 years, I help women acknowledge the root cause of their symptoms so they can finally stop struggling with the life-altering effects of menopause. I'm able to show women how to activate a personalized plan that is focused on healing their distress without focusing on taking unnecessary supplements, medications, dieting, never feeling deprived, and never being overwhelmed. Sadly, many women avoid this, but without a plan, they will continue to suffer. Their health will continue to decline, their waistlines will continue to expand, and they will continue to hate how they look and feel. But when you acknowledge the root cause and activate the personalized plan that's going to help you with these issues, you can finally achieve the physical, mental, and emotional transformation that you desire. If you are struggling in any of the areas I've discussed today, or if you believe that your workplace can benefit from menopause training and policy in the workplace, I am so passionate about sharing my expertise as a menopause health and menopause awareness in the workplace specialist. To learn more, you can schedule a free consultation with me by scanning the QR code on the screen, or you can click the link in the bio section of this page to schedule a call. Please be sure to share this episode with your family and friends, and if you have not subscribed, be sure to click that subscribe button. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, and be sure to join me next week when I will be speaking with Christine Topham, and she'll be sharing her menopause story. Until then, please be safe and be well.